Hey, this is Ralph, and in this video I want to work on one part of our Assignment 6 Excel SAM project. So let's see, I'm going to switch over to, I think I can switch over to Student View here. Switch to Student View, so it should look more like yours. Make sure I'm in the right section. Spring 21, scroll on down. I'm going to pick on Assignment 6. Now there's 3 parts to this, and probably part 3 is the toughest. So I'm going to pick on that one. I'm going to click on Excel Part 3. Yeah, I'm good with my version. I can do this 3 times if I want, and I can study the report after each attempt. I'm going to go ahead and click Start. Now there's a couple files I need to get. I need to get the doc file. That's going to be the directions. So let me go ahead and click on that. And I'm going to choose, actually I guess I'll just choose Open. Cool, and then Enable Editing. Got that. Let's move that off to the side for a moment. Oh, looks like a big truck going by. And I need this Excel file. That's going to be the main working file. I will go ahead and open that. Enable Editing. Now I know from doing these kinds of things before, in fact it's on the directions of course, when we first start these, one of the first things we're going to do is rename the file, and you're going to change the number 1 to a number 2. So let me go ahead and take a moment to do that. File, Save As. I'm going to save this to my desktop. I like working on the desktop for short-term, temporary stuff, and then usually every couple months I'll just go through my desktop and see what I can delete and what needs to be moved somewhere else. And let's see, I'm going to change that number 1 to a number 2 in my file name. Of course, your file has your own name in it. And save. All right. So, yeah, I guess I need to be looking at the directions here. So, what do I want to do? I'm going to see what I can. I'm going to put my Excel on one side like that, and then I'll put my assignment directions on the other side. I know that makes them pretty tiny, but now when I make my browser, when I make my screen narrow like this, some of my buttons and ribbon items, ribbon commands, they're still there. They just look a little different than yours probably. So if you're following along with me, just keep in mind I might have to hunt and peck a little bit more for the actual items. All right, well, let's get to it. All right, I feel pretty good about the file naming stuff, so I'm going to go ahead and cross that out. I'll strike it out. Let's see. Ensure that your first and last name is displayed in cell B6 of the documentation. And there it is. There's my name on cell B6. Neat. All right. Caleb Ramos is a manager in the accounts receivable department of Edgerton Norris. A little word problem situation. Started to create an Excel workbook to produce and track client invoices. Got it. There's an invoice and an invoice tracker over there. He asked you to format the workbook to make the information clearer and easier to understand. Go to the invoice worksheet. So I'm using little sheet tabs down here. I'm going to click the invoice worksheet. Change the name of the worksheet tab to current invoice. All right. So I'll just double click on that invoice tab and I'll change it to current invoice. All right. I'm making sure I'm spelling it properly. Either it was last term or the term before, one of your classmates was doing this very assignment. I remember this distinctly because it kept marking her wrong. And it wasn't just this, but because the sheet tab was named incorrectly, it was counting everything wrong. And we were both looking at it and we're studying. I'm like, God, it looks like everything is correct. What's it trying to do? And she had misspelled the word invoice on the sheet tab. And because the sheet tab was misnamed, every activity that asked for to go on in that particular sheet was getting marked wrong. So that is the big drawback to these computer graded kind of activities. One little thing off can sometimes make it seem like it's much worse than it is. So current invoice, capital C, capital I. I've spelt invoice properly. I'll press enter to accept that. Okay. Middle align the contents of cell A1 to improve the appearance. So I'm going to click on cell A1. Let's try that again. I'm going to click on cell A1 and I'm going to choose the vertical middle alignment, and I guess it wants me to do center too. Now don't forget, somewhere near the end it'll show you a little picture of what your finished spreadsheet should look like. So That'll probably pinpoint something if I do it wrong there. Okay, middle align, and if I hover over these, yeah, you see if I hover over some of these screen tips, so there's the middle align option. Now I did center align, even though maybe it doesn't ask me to do that, so now I'm kind of curious. I'm going to scroll down in the directions. So I did a little bit more than I should have. So Edgerton Norris is not to be centered, it is to be to the left, just middle align, vertical top and bottom. All right, don't read too much into the directions, I suppose. Okay, so that takes care of number 1 and number 2. I'll strike those out. Format the billing section to show the information, to show that the information belongs together as follows. Add outside borders to the range A2 to F4. So if I select A2 to F4, and then I can apply an outside border. So there's a border button right up here in the font command group. Now, do I want a thick outside border? Or just outside borders? It just says outside borders, so let's not go too crazy here, Ralph. Outside borders, I'll click that, and if I click away, I can see there's a really thin black border on there now. Ooh, I gotta go back. Gotta select that again. 3B, change the border color to green accent 4, 8th column, 1st row. This is where my Mac users tend to get the most frustrated because sometimes their colors are just a wee bit different than what they are in the PC. So let's see what we got here. Change the border color to green accent 4. So I'm going to click on that border drop down again. I'm going to move. Well, they have line color would work. I bet I could go to line color and do it that way. Let's see what happens. Or, you know what else I might try? I could go to more borders, and that gives me this little dialog box where I can see that I've got my outside border on, and I can also choose the color from here. So I'm going to try the color from here, see what that does. Green accent 4. All right, there's greens. I'm just going to go to one. That's green accent 3. Green accent 2. Let's go to the right. Green accent 4. 8th column, 1st row of the theme color palette. Ah, so the theme color palette's all the way up here at the top. And there it is, green accent 4. 8th column, 1st row. All right, click that one. Now you notice in my little thumbnail here, it's still black. So I'm going to click on outline, and then that changes it to green. Click OK, click away. All right, I think that's good. That takes care of step 3. Okay, apply the short date number format to cell F3. F3, F3. There's F3. Got it. And I go to my little date drop down on the home ribbon, and there is a short date option on there. All right. To use a more common date format, go to the invoice tracker worksheet. That's another worksheet using little sheet tabs down there. Format the worksheet title in cell A1 to make it stand out as follows. So I'm going to click on cell A1, change to Franklin Gothic Medium. So I go to my font drop down, and I'm going to start to type in Franklin. There it is, Franklin Gothic Medium. Change the font size to 18 points. I'll just use the drop down menu for that. Change the font color to white, background 1. The font color. Change the font color to white. Font color, all right. So there's my font color. Just trying to mouse over. There it is, white background 1. Okay. Bold the worksheet title. I'll just click my little bold button on the font command group again. Merge the worksheet title across the range A1 to I1. So I select A1 to I1. It says merge the worksheet title. Okay. Now I do have a merge and center. However, if I click on the drop down, there's just a merge and cross. I probably could do merge and center and then just left align the text. That would probably be okay. But I'll do merge across, little drop down menu there. Resize the width of column A and column B using auto fit. So if I select columns A and B, I should be able to double click. See where my cursor is in between the column A and B letters? If I double click right there, double click, that's an auto fit. All right. I'm sure I could have right clicked on those and gone to column width, and then, oh, I can't choose auto fit there though. Huh, what could I have done? Just trying to look at some of my options just to see. Thought there was a way I could do that from here, but maybe not. I know there is. There's somewhere. There's a menu option for doing that to change that to auto fit. But that's a pretty quick way. Just double click right in between two column letters after you have those columns selected. There you go. Just select those columns, click and drag on those column letters, double click right in the middle. All right, what else we got? All right, I feel pretty good about 5 and 6. Let's cross those out. Number 7, Caleb asks you to find any duplicate entries and then delete them. Respond to this request as follows. In the range A5 to A16, use conditional formatting highlight cells rules to highlight duplicate values. Okay, conditional formatting highlight cells rules. So there's conditional formatting on the home ribbon still. Highlight cells rules. There's duplicate values. All right, click it. Light red fill, dark red text, that's the default. So that's pretty good. I can click OK. All right, so now I just need to delete the rows containing the first duplicate value. So just that one. I'm going to click on row number 9, left mouse click, right mouse click. I'm just going to hit delete. So I've got my hand on my trackball here, just kind of keeping track of everything. Yeah, a lot of mouse work on this stuff. All right, so that's step number 7 is done. How many steps are there? It was like 20 steps. Okay, third of the way through. Caleb wants to keep running a count of the invoices sent to clients. In cell B3, there's cell B3, looking at the column and the row intersection. In cell B3, enter a formula that uses count A function to count the values in the range A5 to A15. Got it. I'm going to type this out. I know some people like to just use the function dialog box, and that's not a bad way to go. But for a lot of functions, just use the same format. Equal sign first, then the name of the function. They want count A. I'm going to do that in caps, even though you don't need to. Opening parentheses. And it wants the range A5 to A15. Well, I have a choice. I can use my mouse here, and I can select A5 to A15. Type in my closing parentheses. I know this is really small, but I'm working right over there. Count A5 to A15 on cell B3, and then press enter. Cool. All right, so there's 11. And if I select those, you can't really see this too well, but down here in the lower left, I can see I've got my little auto calc area. Tells me there's 11 there. All right, so that count A counts cells that have numbers in them, or text values that are not blank, I mean. So, all right, so we've got those 11 on there. That's fine. That's step 8. Let's go and do step 9. Display all the text in cell E4. There we go. E4 is truncated because the cell's not wide enough. Change the width of column E to 9. All right, now if I just click and drag where column E is, see it's currently at width 8.5. I'm going to change that to 9 if I can. Now, as soon as I let go of my mouse button, I don't know if it moved any. So I'm going to right click on column E. I'm going to go to column width. And yeah, if I wasn't sure, I could just type a 9 right there. And that would definitely make sure that I've got the right sizing, which is wide enough to display the characters in each word of the column. Is that true? It doesn't seem true. I still can't see all of invoice due paid. However, it is wide enough to display all the characters in each word of the column heading in cell E4. Is it? Well, all right, let's find out. Wrap the contents of cell E4 to display on 2 lines. So I still have E4 selected, and I'm going to look for my wrap text. I think this is the button right here. It's under the home ribbon, under alignment, wrap text. I'm going to click that. There we go. That looks good. Makes that row a little bit taller so everything fits in there. All right, I think that takes care of steps 8 and 9. Strike them. Step 10, apply shading to the range A2 to C3 and A17 to B19. I'm going to select non-contiguous ranges here. A2 to C3. A2 to C3. Cool, so I've selected that range, but I also want to get A17 to B19. I'm going to hold down the Control key on my keyboard, and I'm going to select A17, B19. A17 to B19. Let go of my mouse button. Let go of the Control key. So I've selected two ranges of cells that are not next to each other. Those are non-contiguous ranges of cells. What am I doing with these things? Apply shading. That's the little fill bucket. And it wants green accent 3, lighter 80%. Seventh column. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right there. Second row, which is right there, and it looks like it's green accent 3, lighter 80%. Click it. Pretty. All right. That takes care of step 10. Step 11, in cell A3, all right, decrease the number of decimal places to 2. All right, so I will decrease. I know that's up here somewhere. There it is. Okay, 2 decimal places to format the values as a dollar amount. All right, looks good. So that takes care of steps 10 and 11. Apply the 40% accent 3 cell style to range. All right, to range A4 to I4. A4 to I4. I-4 is a big east-west interstate in Central Florida where I grew up. So I spent a lot of time on I-4. Apply the 40% accent 3 cell style. Okay, so cell styles, there's a place for that right here on the home ribbon, cell styles. Ooh, there's a lot of choices. But I want 40% accent 3. And actually, these are nice because they're labeled right on there. 40% accent 3. Oh, wait, it wants to indicate those cells contain column headings. Oh, all right, I guess that's all I need. Those aren't, yeah, that was easy enough. Apply the accounting number format to the range D5 to D15. D5 to D15. I want the accounting number format. So I go to where it says General up here, my number format dropdown, and one of these is called Accounting. There we go. I think you can also just click, is the dollar sign? Is that the one? Yeah. So the dollar sign, if I just click that, that would do the same thing. That would be the accounting. And a little drop down for that. What does that do? Well, it's just different currency symbols. Okay. So I could click the little dollar sign, or I could do 2 clicks, and I can click on that drop down, and I can choose accounting right there. There we go. All right, that takes care of steps 12 and 13. Step 14. Caleb wants to know at a glance which invoices are for the most amounts. Sounds like a max is going to be involved. In the range D5 through D15. Ooh, I've still got that selected, but I'll select it again. D5 through D15. Use conditional formatting. There's conditional formatting to create a data bars rule with the gradient fill. So there's data bars, and they probably want green, right? They want green for everything in this thing. With the gradient fill green data bar color option. Green data bar, there we go. That's kind of neat. So at a glance, well, it's kind of tough actually. I guess at a glance I can see this one here in row 6, that 4506. That must be the biggest one because it fills up pretty much the whole cell. Whereas the smallest one is probably, yeah, that 2128 right next to it. All right, kind of neat. So at a glance, you get that extra visual indicator. I don't like that it mixes in with the numbers, but... All right. Where am I? Oh, I'm on step 15 now. Caleb also wants to highlight the invoices that have not been paid in the range F5 to F15. F5 to F15. Conditional formatting highlights cells rules to format cells containing a cell value equal to N. Light red fill, dark red text. Conditional formatting highlights cells rules. to format cells containing a cell value. I think we can do equal to. Let's try equal to. Can I just type in the letter N and then tab? Now, I was wondering, it looks like it's going to work there because you can see in the background it's doing that. I was wondering if sometimes you have to put in quote marks, when you want it to be literal. But I think we're okay with this. And light red fill, dark red text, I'm going to click OK. Looks like it's doing it. Step 16 in cell B17. There it is. In cell B17, enter a formula using the average function to calculate the average invoice amount of range D5 through D15. D5 through D15. All right, so ultimately I'm going to get the average. So I'm clicking on B17, and I'm on my home ribbon. I'm going to use the drop down for my auto sum, and I'm going to choose average. Now it's not averaging the right thing, so I'll just use my mouse here, and I'm going to select D5 through D15. Is that the right one? Yep. And it looks pretty good. I'll press enter to accept. There's my average. Cool. So that takes care of steps 14, 15, and 16. Strike them out. Step 17 in cell B18. There's B18 right there. Enter a formula using the max function to calculate the maximum invoice range of D5 through D15. I'm going to type this one by hand. Equals max parentheses D5 colon D15 closing parentheses, enter. What's the next one? And do a min. Equals min opening parentheses D5 colon D15 closing parentheses, enter. All right, type those in by hand. That works too. So takes care of 17 and 18. Let's make sure I can select them. Strike them out. Check the spelling in the workbook to identify and correct any spelling errors. All right, that is under review, just like it is in Microsoft Word. Then I click spelling. Yep, I'm going to choose at the beginning of the sheet. Healthcare, not in dictionary. What does it want me to do? Correct any spelling errors, all right? Oh, it's missing the L in healthcare. Got it. Change. Good to go. That's step 19. Step 20. Change the tab color of the invoice tracker worksheet to green accent 3. So I'm going to right click on my sheet tab name, and I'm going to choose tab color. And then I need to get 7th column, 1st row. Is that one right there? Green accent 3. That looks good. Click it. Doesn't look any different to me, but I guess it is. Maybe it was different before. All right, I think that takes care of steps 19 and 20. Where's my little strikeout button? There it is. All right, your worksheet should look like the final figures in the following pages. Let's see. There's that first one. Let me go. That's the current invoice. I'm just going to kind of glance at these side by side, and they are looking pretty good. All right. And here's the other one, the invoice tracker worksheet. Just kind of glancing at these pictures side by side. And yeah, that seems right. Cool. All right, so I made a rookie mistake. I've not saved my worksheet once, except after that first time. So let me hit save. It's saved in my desktop. This is my worksheet that I've been working on. It's got the number 2 in the file name. I think I'm in pretty good shape. I'm going to minimize the directions. I'm going to minimize my spreadsheet, and then I'm ready to continue. So I'm back in SAM here, of course. Now I'm ready to upload my file. So I need to go to my desktop, and there it is right there. So it's that one. All right, I'm going to click OK or Open. And I'm going to click Submit. See what happens. All right, I want a graded summary report. And I'm going to open that. It's a spreadsheet. There it is. Maximize, enable editing. Cool, 100%, 100 out of 100. So that's what we're looking for. And I guess that one wasn't too bad. You know, there wasn't too many weird, tricky, ambiguous kinds of things to do. Now, had something been wrong on there, then obviously we would have worked on that one. We would have gone back and we would go back and fix our working file and see if we can't make the corrections there. We'd resave this file, saving over the last version, and then re-upload this file into SAM to get the corrective feedback. Cool. And if for some reason it was still tricky, I noticed on there they also have a study guide. So that means you could click a study guide. It's thinking, it's thinking, it's thinking. There we go. Oh, this is pretty cool. So this goes through each skill and shows you how you can fix it. So let's say I messed up on renaming the worksheet. I could click on that and it's going to open up a little training exercise. I dig it. And I guess I could play that.
Renaming a worksheet can help identify the type of data it contains.
There we go.
In the Cells group on the Home tab, click the Format button.
Okay, yeah, I paused and just turned that off. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, so that's why you can do these projects multiple times. Go through them, try your best, look at the remediation and the training and how to do it and the reports, and then submit them again and get your highest grade possible. So I will close out of that, and I think I'm done with that one. Thanks for hanging out with me.